everybody, and welcome to Raising Vibrations with myself, Simon. Today, everyone, we're going to be going through the Moon sign series, and we're going to be focusing on Moon in Aquarius today, or Moon in the 11th house, or if you have Moon conjunct Uranus in your birth chart, okay? But before we go ahead and do that, I highly recommend that you watch the introduction video. Of course, this gives you a lot of information about how the moon sign operates in your birth chart and kind of contextualize all this information. Okay, great. So what are we looking at here when we're trying to understand the moon in Aquarius or moon in 11th house, or if you have moon obviously conjunct Uranus? This can be a very, very tricky placement to have the moon. One of the major reasons as to why I say that is because, or in relationship to Aquarius Uranus, is because a lot of the time Uranus itself carries karmic patterns and stories in your psyche where there are feelings of rejection and alienation, and also feelings of detachment and kind of frozen emotions. And a major reason as to why this will be the case is because, unfortunately, in our society, the Uranian archetype itself is very much, in our consciousness, very much suppressed. And we would have had lifetimes, every single one of us in particular, would have had at least a couple of lifetimes where your Uranus in your birth chart has been suppressed through the individuation, your identity, your sense of indifference. And Saturn land and you know, the sort of consensus way of living and follow the rules, etc., that would have squashed that. They would have projected judgment onto yourself. And of course, that then gets internalized as a sense of rejection within yourself, or a sense of alienation, not being part of a group, not being able to express oneself within groups because of that feeling of credibly expressing oneself and then getting rejected. So when you have the moon in this placement, there can be karmic tendencies associated with this, wanting to be part of groups and not feeling really comfortable in it, or being so detached from it in that way. This is one of the kind of elements that I feel is really important to integrate when understanding your moon sign. And the way to heal this trauma in some way, shape or form is to actually step into the polarity point of Aquarius, which is Leo. And that is to actually credibly self-actualize, to really express one's identity and not really feel that there is a need to suppress oneself or to cut oneself or edit oneself in any way whatsoever. The point here is to actually try and dance with your heart and allow your tribe to naturally gravitate towards you as you creatively express yourself in that way. So a really important thing to recognize with if you have that signature in your birth chart overall, and particularly with the moon. However, another aspect to this archetype that can be sometimes really, really challenging is because of the objectivity associated with this placement of the moon sign, your emotional reality can be very detached. And you know, for many reasons this can be the case. This is not good, this is not bad, this just is. And the main kind of structure that I've noticed when speaking to souls that have got this placement is if they've either had situations of extreme codependency prior to this lifetime, and of course there is this need to really objectify one's emotions and not to get overly invested in things because of that codependency and enmeshment that can take place. Other things can be where the soul is actually looking to liberate oneself from identity structures that have happened before. And this can be really, really difficult sometimes because you might not even know who you are, because there's a kind of sense of fracturing of identity. And this can actually play out in your life as you were brought up in a home, and then at a certain age, a sudden change happened. And there was a fracturing of that early life conditioning and support and nurturing that took place, and you could even be cut off from that very intimate connection with emotional nourishment of yourself. So it's a great placement to have Moon in Aquarius, because of course that ability to really see things in a very objective way and to be very scientific in your approach, and to really have a kind of out there approach to things, fringe approach, very sort of eccentric and such, and those are wonderful traits. But there are some aspects to this process that I would say that you should at least process when it comes to Moon Uranus conjunctions or connections, or Moon 11th house or Moon in Aquarius, because of that fragmentation that the psyche has had due to security patterns and whatever. So find that security from within is a big thing. All right. Okay, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Please look at all the details that is available on my website. A link will come up there. You can book a reading with myself, or participate in my online astrology school. Or if you're just wanting to have tutoring astrology, I also have that available. Okay, fantastic. Have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.